He is marked right at the center of Mount Kenya politics. It is none other than Kiharu Member of Parliament, Ndindi Nyoro. Today on this particular edition of Siasa Brigade, we want to look at the politics of the mountain and what portends for this son of Mount Kenya, Ndindi Nyoro, in the world of politics and governance. I'm yours truly, Richard Mwenja. Welcome on the show. And with me today on this episode, as usual, is none other than the only name in political analysis this side of the Sahara, Herman Manyora.
Yes, how are you?
How are you, sir?
Wonderful, just arrived from the village.
From Lombe?
From Lombe to bury my stepmother.
Allah.
I've been burying people so much now.
Yeah, the last couple of months you've been laying to rest a number of people.
These people belong to God. When the Maker says come, you just go.
And give them
God's case, no appeal.
God's case, no appeal.
Yes.
Does it somewhat frighten you now that you are really, old age is catching up with you?
I'm a young man.
You're a young man?
I'm a young man. There are people who lived up 900. Read the Bible.
900 years?
Yes, 936 actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You could be the reincarnation of those who lived for long.
Of course.
All right, very well, Sam. And glad to have you back, by the way.
Thank you.
Straight to today's conversation, you're talking about matters Mount Kenya politics. And top talk around town is that surrounding vibrant voices from the region, Kimani Ichung'wah and Ndindi Nyoro and Rigathi Gachagua. Yes. We've had the Sagana meeting that was held the other day with President Ruto there in. And talk around town is that many people have always considered Raila Odinga to be the threat to Rigathi Gachagua in terms of influence in the world of politics. But then there's a section who believe that Ndindi Nyoro is enough threat for Rigathi Gachagua, let alone Raila Odinga. Now that you're talking about this man today, do you somewhat support that argument that Rigathi Gachagua should see beyond Raila Odinga? There are other people from Mount Kenya like Ndindi Nyoro who are equally his match.
You know, there's a lot of fog, mist around the mountain. We'll wait for some kind of summer for the mists to clear and the snow to move down the rivers for us to see clearly. For now, it's very difficult.
For now, it's very difficult.
Because the situation is a little fluid. It's not very clear. Uhuru Kenyatta is still on the mountain. He hasn't departed. Rigathi Gachagua is the number 2 man in this country. And therefore, you cannot, it's too early to say.
It's too early to say.
All we can say is there are people who think that vacuum exists. First of all, is there a vacuum? Has Uhuru Kenyatta actually left? That's the first question. If it is yes, and I believe it's not yes, but let's assume it is yes, who do you think is the person who seems to be occupying it or getting closest to occupying it? Naturally, it should be Rigathi Gachagua because of his position now. But again, that doesn't mean he has unrivaled access to that seat of Mount Kenya Kingpin. So if that's the case, then who are the other people? Visible enough to be seen, Kimani Ichung'wah and Ndindi Nyoro. And I think that's how it is now.
That's how you think it is right now. Then again, now that you've mentioned Kimani Ichung'wah, maybe one or two out there, word in the street, is there those who believe that there is a sort of a competition between Kimani Ichung'wah and Ndindi Nyoro. Everyone wants to be in the best books of the president, to be that blue-eyed boy for the president in Mount Kenya politics. If it might be true somewhat, does it point at a potential split in the near future, because all are looking towards getting to the good books of the president?
Politics is a game of competition. That's what politics is. Politics is a competition. So there's nothing strange about competition on the mountain. Once people compete for something when they know there's no sure leader. So when Uhuru Kenyatta was there, could anybody have competed for that space?
Not quite.
William Ruto is in the Rift Valley. Can anybody compete for that space? Look at some busybodies trying to compete for the space when Raila is occupying it. So if we are talking post Raila, post Ruto, post Uhuru, then you can bring the healthy competition. And that competition for the mountain is between that man who is heir apparent, almost there, Rigathi Gachagua, and those 2 others who have great potential. Both Ndindi Nyoro and Kimani Ichung'wah have great potential. Great potential. Because they are firebrand. Ndindi Nyoro comes from Kiharu, the home of Matiba, the home of Kiano. It's not a place for small fellows.
Place for revolutionists.
And I hope you have noticed that Ndindi Nyoro has changed his style. He's trying to move away from activism to mature politics.
To mature politics.
It's very noticeable if you ask me.
Let's advance that conversation.
Yes.
And now that we've talked about his transition from activism to now mature politics, oftentimes he's come out as one person who will always go bare knuckle on former President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, and that will capitalize his political mileage, per se. Would you say that without going bare knuckle on Raila Odinga or on the political fodder that on issues that touch with Uhuru Kenyatta, he cannot hold his own political candle?
That's what has brought them where they are. The three of them. Hitting at Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta. Hitting at Raila and Uhuru Kenyatta. So that has made Rigathi is where he is, has made Kimani Ichung'wah is where he is, Ndindi Nyoro. But beyond that, you must move away from activism. And I would advise any of them. The person who successfully, early enough, moves away from activism, from seeing Raila everywhere they move. They take their tea, they see Raila in their cup of tea. When they are sleeping, they see Raila instead of seeing their wives. I can only advise them, they will not go far. They must move away from seeing Devil Raila to focusing on what they want, their political career. Yeah. The sooner they move away from Raila, the better for them. Anyone who successfully navigates around this issue of moving away from attacking Uhuru and Raila, among the three, between those three, one of them will be a sure leader of the mountain.
But even in Mount Kenya politics, it's through political activism that we've seen the birth of great minds, Wangari Maathai and all that. Martha Karua, you talk of all that.
But they have never sat on the seat. I'm talking about sitting on the seat.
It is not enough being a firebrand, but sitting on the seat.
Sitting on that seat. And it's a hot seat.
It is?
It's a hot seat. But again, you see, we are looking at successors from one corner of the house. The Kenya Kwanza corner. There are other corners of the house. There are people who are not Mount Kenya. They are not Kenya Kwanza. They are with Uhuru Kenyatta. You know, the right of Peter Munya, the likes of
Peter Kenneth,
the likes of Martha Karua, a number of others. Then there are those who are not quite, who are with Kenya Kwanza, but not quite there. Mwangi Kiunjuri. You see? We are looking at Mwangi area has moved from the Mwangi Kiunjuri side to the Azimio corner where Martha Karua and the rest of Peter Munya are. And then there are others who are completely neutral. William Kafogo. So there are four corners in the house. A successor could come from any of those corners.
It is not automatic.
So for today, I think we are focusing on the Kenya Kwanza corner.
Yeah, sure.
And those three stand out.
Those three stand out.
Yeah.
Very well then. Now, if we are talking about probably the future of Ndindi Nyoro, Kiharu Member of Parliament, based on his development scorecard, he has really done impressive work in Kiharu compared to many legislators from the region.
Yes.
Which now begs the question, should he probably launch a higher bid, say governorship and all that? What are the odds that probably he could get that and really bring down big names?
I think Ndindi Nyoro could very easily beat Kangata. Very easily.
Very easily? Even with Kangata being a seasoned politician?
He would beat him. But again, you see, there are politics. I don't understand. I'm not so much aware. I'm not informed about the Muranga politics in terms of regions. You know, there is Kangata. There is what you call Mbiri now, Kiharu. There is Kagumo. There are those others. You know, there are Gatanga. Those arrangements can sometimes be very tricky. They can floor you down not because you are a good politician, but because that arithmetic doesn't favor you. But I'm just, on top of my head, I'm thinking, unless that works out in such a way it completely goes against Ndindi Nyoro, I don't think Kangata can beat Ndindi Nyoro.
You don't think so?
I don't think.
As we come to the tail of the conversation, question among many people right now is, if you are talking about the future of Rigathi Gachagua ascending to the seat and become the President of the Republic of Kenya,
yes.
And there are many who believe he cannot get to that point without having at least Kimani Ichung'wah and Ndindi Nyoro by his side. Do you really buy to that argument?
Well, they say unity. If the mountain wants to have a stab at the president in 2027 or 2032, the question of unity is not something that can be gainsaid. It's obvious. It's obvious. And they have to be in one corner, all of them, to make a realistic attempt at the presidency. And by the way, 2032 is so far. So much will have happened in this country. People who are really in the current establishment and are looking at 2032, it is too complex for them.
Too complex?
You're talking about Mudavadi, you're talking about Gachagua, you're talking about the Ndindi Nyoro, the rest of these people. 10 years gap between now and 2032. The world will have changed so significantly.
Drastically?
Anybody who lives now and comes back in 2030 will not know this is Kenya. The world will have changed, not just Kenya, but the world. And the age will be such a major factor in that election. I don't see people like Mudavadi going anywhere because of age.
Because of age?
Yes, it will be a serious age factor. The way the people are viewing the world now, the changes that will have taken place. And you know, and for my friend Rigathi Gachagua, and then these other fellows you are calling Ishungwa and Ndindi Nyoro, the question of another Kikuyu president is also not something you can just take lightly. It's not a very easy question.
Much as it's deemed as a political debt.
It's not about the individual's capacity. It's another Kikuyu president, another Kalenjin president. It will be that equation is very difficult.
It was the
and
same
if you ask me, that is what will bring this country down, even before a revolution.
But that same question was top of Kenya's minds last year, but still.
Yeah, so it was not quite, it was not sold well. Just Uhuru hinted at it. And the burials of Salem Davadi's mother, God rest her soul, Hannah. And it was not pursued. You see, I've noticed something about Raila. Raila is a firebrand politician. But he's very cautious about certain issues. He never takes advantage the way other people do of certain hot issues like that one. He shies away from it. Others make use of it. If it was the other side, they would have used it. I remember in the presidential debate of 2013, the issue of land came up.
Highly emotive subject.
And remember, as they were debating, the minister in charge of lands was James Orengo, with all the facts about land in this country. And the question was about land and Uhuru Kenyatta. Raila defended him. He said, to be fair to this man, this is a young man. When did he grab the land? If those grabbing was done by somebody else.
But not him.
Not him. Other people will have gotten hold of that and run away with that question until you demolish him. So even this thing of hegemony of Kikuyu Kalenjin, Raila has not, you have seen him pursuing it? No?
Not quite.
Even issues in this demonstration, there have been issues to do with some tribal angle, but he never. He's a very cautious politician when it comes to that. He's so mindful of his standing in society, what the international community can think of him. Those are some of the things that deny him the fire that you might need to get beyond the certain point where somebody can steal your vote. And if somebody wants to steal your vote, you must be tinkering around 52, 51%, you can take a bit. But if you went to 60%, nobody can steal your election.
A huge margin that.
No, nobody can steal it.
Very well.
57, 58, even 55, nobody can steal. Raila is always 50 point something, 51, up or 52. He has won a number of times. That's a fact. It's obvious.
Are you doubting the credibility of IEBC independent
No, but IEBC was dismissed in 2017. And every credible observer, including the ones we invited from outside, Judge Kriegler, for example, they said Kibaki didn't win the election. So what are we talking about?
Very lastly,
yes,
sir,
yes.
From where you sit as your footnote, and do you somewhat consider there is need for Ndindi Nyoro to reduce that shade of him that has been embedded in him, sort of interceptor of missiles from the opposition, more of an attack dog for the government?
The way he's doing it, let him. If I am Ndindi Nyoro today, I will leave Rigathi Gachagua to attack Uhuru Kenyatta. I will leave Rigathi Gachagua to attack Raila Odinga.
You watch over the
I will leave Kimani Ichung'wah to continue attacking Uhuru Kenyatta, attacking Raila Odinga. I will not do it. You know, you are seasoning yourself. You are evolving into a serious, mature politician. And when you go even in a public meeting, what they say and what you say, you keep off Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta.
But that could make him lose some of the perks he already has.
No. You are cutting a certain image of a leader. It's time for people like Ndindi Nyoro to move in that direction.
Very well.
And when the mountain will be looking for somebody, he could be counted among those people who can
be handed the baton.
You see, the problem of attacking Raila and Uhuru, you come out cheap. That's what I'm trying to say. Kikuyu like fighters, jamba. They like a really bull, a really cockerel. They sound that thing in the Kikuyu man and woman, I dare say. But not when you cheapen yourself. Attacking Raila and Uhuru is becoming cheap.
Or commenting on anything and everything.
Yeah. It's becoming a very cheap thing. So my advice even to all these people who attack Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, no. You are coming out bad. You see, people will not tell them.
They won't?
People can't tell them.
That the king is naked?
Yeah, you tell him this attacking Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga is making you come out. It's like, how can you be a president and you are complaining? People, even children, are questioning, how can the president be complaining? When you Raila, what kind of mountain is Raila that these guys cannot move? They are not questioning that. When you say these guys carried money in bags in 16 minutes, 15, I don't know, 26, how many billion? Some
billions.
Billions of...
Tens of billions.
Tens of billions, that's good. Carried in how many minutes? 26 minutes, less than 30 minutes.
In under an hour.
Pop, then a helicopter, then in somebody's homestead. And the president is saying that, the deputy is saying that. They have not arrested that man. Kwani yo mtu ni ndovu aina gani yo?
It's a mountain that can be flattened.
The president is the commander in chief. Beyond being head of government is head of state. As head of state, he can call the judiciary and the police as head of state.
Deploy state machinery.
And tell them there's evidence, CCTV camera. Ndio huyu mtu anapatoa pesa, alitoa hapa, imefika hapa. Instructions on here on WhatsApp. Shika hii watu na ikifika kesho nione wamefungwa wote.
Control of budget, come here.
So Ndindi Nyoro should maintain what maybe I've not been following, but I've not heard him so loud. And that to me, even without any payment coming my way, will be my advice.
To him.
Leave that to Ichung'wah and Rigathi Gachagua.
Or at least Kanini Kega to do
Wacha waendelee, we nyamaza. Become mature. Talk about mature things. Criticize the opposition in a mature way. You know? When you take on the opposition, it's in a very well calculated way. Not just throwing insults at Raila Odinga.
Very well, there you have it from a man born Manyora talking matters political feature of none other than Kiharu Member of Parliament, Ndindi Nyoro. Indeed, if he can tap to that wisdom, maybe it will work for him. As of whether he'll tap into it, it remains to be seen. That has been our conversation today on Siasa Brigade. Always a pleasure to have you on board. Next is our other shows on the channel with Jadiel Kabiru and Evan Sokinyi. Make sure you tune in and continue supporting us. Until next time, God bless.